I'm being joined by a sitting federal lawmaker, Senator Okechev, who is a senator representing Benue State in the National Assembly, and of course a former presidential spokesperson, and would I say factional governorship candidate in Ogun State for the PDP, Mr. Segun Sowunmi. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming.
It's a pleasure.
Otumba, so you're a chief now.
I'm Otumba Owagbewuni of Idoani.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it might be preferable for us to just go by Mr. Segun Sowunmi on this program for tonight. Thank you so much, if you don't mind.
It's not like I mind, I'm just telling you.
All right, let's get to it. Senator, I can see smiles on your face. Yes. How does the emergence of Atiku Abubakar come to you, personally?
Well, I'm happy that the process was free and fair. And you know the Nigerian way of doing things. If it wasn't free and fair, the first people that would be shouting foul would be the aspirants themselves. I have not heard that. And so personally, I'm very happy that the process went on very smoothly. Quite a few times in the past on your program here, I've been one of the most critical voices of my party when things were going wrong, you know, until the last convention when the present leadership of the party emerged, and I started to see things go the right way. And so today is a combination of what I expected should happen with a party that is prepared to take on the ruling party that has failed, in my opinion, to lead the country right. And so yesterday's occasion was, by any standard, a huge success. And I'm happy that the former vice president has emerged the candidate of the party. And I'm hoping that this time around, he will make it not just as a candidate, but you know, through the general elections taking place next year.
On Friday, prior to the primary of Saturday, did you see Atiku Abubakar winning the race?
Personally, I kept my mind open. I mean, I said anything.
You thought it's going to be a tight one? I
thought it was going to be a very tight one. I thought where anybody that emerged, we should support the person. That was my position. Because, I mean, everybody has the credentials. Everybody was hoping to win. I may have had my own preferences, but truly, I never really stuck out my neck to say, this is the person I'm sure will win.
But did Atiku Abubakar fall within your your top three?
Of course, he was one of those I thought was poised to win. He wasn't the only one, but he was one of those I thought was poised to win. And Sean, let's face it, what is important in all of which happened yesterday was the fact that the process was free and fair and was clean and made all of us party members very proud. Certainly some people will go back disappointed because there's nobody that goes into such a race and expects to lose, especially when they have put in so much effort, so much resources, so much time, that will be happy that they lost. But the important thing is that at the end of it, we came out as one strong, united family.
Chief Sowunmi, I know you're happy that I refer to you as Chief Sowunmi.
Doesn't matter really, but let's go.
All right, great. What is your take on Atiku's emergence?
Well, I think before I come to the Atiku emergence, let me step back a little bit and say that for me, I've always seen the conversation around politics as being backed by some scientific patterns. People think that politics is some haphazard situation where there is no form and there is no order, but there is. So, from a scientific viewpoint, you cannot have an Atiku Abubakar who was the flag bearer, who did as well as he did the last outing, whom people thought we believe we were cheated. If he's in the race, very experienced politician. To God be the glory, the contest was very, very keenly contested. There was nerves all over. But at the end of the day, predictably, he won. But it's not predictably won.
You knew he was going to win?
Absolutely.
Because we're going to go to that analysis in a moment.
Land my thoughts. Predictably, he won. And he won by 48% of the votes, no matter how small the numbers was. And the last outing, he also won by 48% of the vote. You don't have mathematical coincidences. There is a process that leads to this thing. Election for the purpose of education is a residual memory recall decision-taking process. Because at the end of the day, the people have to now take that decision. What really informs them? There's a lot of scientific work on how that patterning is done, but we'll come for that. So I'll just say, congratulations, PDP. My boss, His Excellency, former Vice President Waziri Adamawa, congratulations. But more importantly, we have in a country where INEC has laid out the rules, the expectations, how parties should behave. And you've noticed that the only democratic party in Nigeria, PDP, has worked very hard to stay on course. You just have to pray that aside who will be the actual winner of the presidency, which I know and I think is Atiku, we need to be communicating the most positivity of who we are as Africans to the world. By the mere sheer size of our population, anything around our election issues, either in the main ruling party now or in the opposition, is a global event. And tell me, Sheon, you were there. Were you not even proud of the layout, the dramaturgy, the way things just panned out? No. It's only PDP could do this. And I must congratulate the Yoshi Ayu-led NWC for whatever it is worth. That process has gone well. But I will not swallow the saliva in my mouth without doffing my cap for the governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Nyesom Wike. He's young. A lot of the youthfulness came abroad. And you notice he's honest. And at the end of the day, you heard him, even before the votes was cast. He said, I am a party man. Whoever wins this has my total support. It can't be better than that. Truly, it can be better than that. If you don't clap for us, we'll clap for ourselves. And now all of the aspirants have started congratulating themselves. It's PDP time in Nigeria. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Showumi. I'll go to another angle of our conversation tonight, and the Tambuwal effect in this race. There was a Tambuwal effect in Port Harcourt, in 2019. The effect of Tambuwal was predicted and assumed that it was going to win the election until few hours before the process started, and everything changed. A similar scenario played out yesterday in Abuja. It looked like a deja vu, where someone looked like it was going to get it. At the end of the day, there was a prevalence of some factors that changed the tide. Now, Senator, give me your own perspective to the Tambuwal effect of yesterday. If he had not made that decision, or if he wasn't prevailed upon to step down, what do you think would have happened?
Well, I don't exactly know what would have happened because I don't know how much votes he was bringing to the table. Okay, so the decision that he took was important. I'm sure it added to the Atiku votes. Whether that would have made a difference if he had not, I can't exactly sit here. You see, politics is a game of the more you see, the less you understand sometimes. So sometimes people come with, I don't want to take away anything from the Tambuwal effect that you are projecting. Tambuwal is a formidable candidate by any means, and but there were a lot of things going. Let me say certain things that went against his candidature. Okay, coming from the same political zone with the current president, I'm sure that in a way counted against him, and. Maybe he did his own calculations and came to the effect that, well, what if he decides to go on and loses? Will that affect the chances of somebody else winning or losing? I don't know what went into his taking that decision. But at the end of the day, what is important is that he took the decision and, we had the result that we're having today, which everybody is happy about.
Yes, it was projected because I'm one of those who believe in political mathematics.
That's right.
It was projected to take a third position. A third position.
Okay,
Tambuwal was projected to take a third position. Nyesom Wike was projected by some who were doing the permutations that he was going to lead by about less than 15 vote margin. just above Atiku Abubakar, and it was projected that Tambuwal was going to get just about 120, about less than 130 votes out of the 700 over 700 votes that were available for taking. Mr. Shawumi, if you can give us an idea with about 120 votes, because we saw Atiku Abubakar first and foremost came into the arena yesterday, but he left. And for the insider information that we gathered was that at the time that he came at first, the talks were still on, and Tambuwal had not decided to step down from him. If he had stayed with his vote and not stepped down and ceded his votes to Atiku Abubakar, do you still think that Atiku Abubakar would have had a day?
Sheon, I like the fact that you like the mathematics of politics. It's a very difficult, cutting-edge area of this trade. But if you put yourself to studious research, it makes it a little bit clearer for you. First point, how many votes are there? It's only the local government votes. Second point, are people locked into their zonal calculation? Southwest, Southeast, all the zonal things. Third point, when the chips are down, what should a politician of Tambuwal status do? And what could have prevailed upon him to do so? I tell you this, people make it seem as if it's easy for Tambuwal to stand up and make that speech, given his relationship with Wike and what happened. It's not an easy decision. In the North, there are two tendencies that drive the habit and the political pattern. There are the ones that follow the old Aminu Kano tendencies, the Talakawa ones, and there are the ones that follow the old Tafawa Balewa, Shagari type of tendency. The conservative but powerful intellectual North. I think Tambuwal has just fitted perfectly into the shoes of the leader, of the potential leader after this generation of old men of that Tafawa Balewa, Shehu Shagari type of tendency. And he has taken a decision which, first of all, the way he delivered it was presidential in his own right. Second of all, he's sub 60, he's young. Third of all, favors come in late. Many things will go through his mind. But I would just applaud him for the courage, for the bravery, for all of the strength it takes to do that. Because in some quarters, people will be angry with him. But the truth of the matter is that how would you expect a political party like PDP not to be happy that one of them agreed to step down for one of them? Have you forgotten that some other blocks too, if they knew they were that interested, what stopped some of the other ones from stepping down from themselves? Politics is the act of negotiation. Hard, tough negotiation. Behind the scene brickmanship. And what has happened in full display of everybody is that the People's Democratic Party of Nigeria once again has shown that it is the university of political conversation, political discourse, political processes, political ideology for Nigeria. To propose it, it's not yet time, but we'll get there. To what you expect to see. Shehu, imagine if we were just research students from maybe like Harvard, and we were following the Nigerian political space in the last 24, 25 years. Do you understand? What are you going to see? You're going to see ideological consensus for PDP. You're going to see name consensus for PDP. You're going to see color consensus for PDP. You're going to see camaraderie and the so-called family way we do things. You need to understand one thing. All right. Human nerves are involved. But at the end of the day, a decision has been taken, and we thank Governor Kamba for it, even if it only gave an additional 1 vote. The price of 1 vote is very high, and we're happy for it.
There are a lot of calculations that have gone into it, and those who have done the mathematics will say, look, there are more southern aspirants than the northern aspirants in this race, and perhaps also if Saraki has also stepped down all the coalition within the northern bloc in the race, maybe Atiku will have had, or wherever emerged as a consensus in the north, will have had a better vote. But if you look at the outing of some other southern aspirants, you also see that they also make a lot of inroads. For example, Anudom had a 38 vote, Ayim Payosayim had a 14 vote. If you put all of those votes together, some people who had done the mathematics in your party said Wike had won this election 1 week ago. And it looks so much that he has locked in Benue, locked in states like Oyo, locked in Rivers, locked in even Kano had that he had over 80% of the votes. So until a lot happened. So a day they say is a long time in politics.
That's exactly why it's called politics.
Absolutely. So interesting, and a lot of lessons to be learned also in all of those who won and those who've lost. But a bigger question here, and I perhaps will ask you first, Mr. Shomi, is what this means in the bigger Nigerian politics. Not talking about PDP alone. PDP as a unit has come forward with Atiku Abubakar. Muhammadu Buhari will be leaving office. Muhammadu Buhari, Northwest Nigeria, Katsina State. 8 years. He would have spent 8 years in 2023. Now, and Atiku Abubakar, candidate of the PDP, Northeast Nigeria, coming forward. What does this mean? Does it upset the zoning or the rotation arena, or what kind of politics does it upset, or does it entrench in Nigeria?
So this is a very serious question you've asked. So I need you to let me lay the foundation of what exactly is going on. It is true that political parties, out of their own convenience, try to be equitable within a certain parameters. In the PDP and in Nigeria, because we have the first bite of the cherry for 16 years, we stuck to that arrangement where Obasanjo got 2 terms, then we went to Yar'Adua, who died, may so continually rest in peace. He put it back to Jonathan. Jonathan finished the term and got another term of his own. And then when he wanted to extend it, there was a lot of crisis in the party. Then we came to Atiku in 2019, the North. If they had won, maybe we'll do 2 terms and all that. Unfortunately, parties don't have a joint zoning arrangement. I kept screaming. Zoning is the exclusive preserve of a political party with the ultimate intention of thinking of how to win and also do equity. Nigeria, for the upteenth time, is divided into 6 zones. May God bless the memory of General Sani Abacha, who did it. They broke, the leaders of that concern broke the country into 6 zones for balance. So that you don't always keep coming to say, oh, they not cheated us, they not cheated us. They have 3 zones. In that zone, they have Northwest, where Buhari is from. They have North Central, who have not produced president yet. They have Northeast, where Atiku is from, where they have not produced. On the Southern Belt, the only equity challenge we have in the South is the Southeastern equity challenge. The challenge now is, should the South not know what exactly the position of the South ought to be? If you assume it without conceding, we agree that they zoned it, or there was a Northern caucus that said, let's go to Atiku. For God's sake, why was there not a Southern caucus that said, let's go here? And why must we be expecting for people to profit from what they don't deserve? The South, with profound respect, have had Jonathan for some time. The Southwest, with great respect, have had Obasanjo for some time. We even have for both of even the vice presidency now. So the PDP tries to be equitable, but you cannot share what you don't have. You can only rotate what you have. When the APC wanted to challenge us, even though they kept changing their name, they stuck with Buhari's 12 million votes. You think Bola Tinubu is a child and he didn't know that in 2015, he could have easily tried to say he wants to be candidate? But he knew that they didn't have what they wanted to share yet. So they have gone to Buhari and they have won for 8 years. APC has an equity challenge, but that equity challenge must be housed within the Nigerian complex. There are still zones that APC can go to. If they like, they can go to the North Central. If they like.
There's only one candidate in the North Central.
Good for them. So I was on your program many months ago. I've seen them cut it and use it. And people make a lot of silly comments. But remember that day when you asked me that who was I scared of or who was I worried about? We are not even gotten to this stage. The candidates have not emerged. I told the whole world. I said that governor in Kogi State Put your eyes on him. One, is young. Two, I see the way he's moving up and down. I see people going there. Now, have I not been vindicated? Have you seen any APC campaign that comes close to what is done? Look, I thrive on honest analysis. Even if it's against me, I'll still tell you, honestly, this is where we are. So for us, let's stay where we're staying. The APC can go north, east if they like. But they have all of the south they can choose from. Would they not be interested in imagining an El Clasico now that Atiku has arrived? If they do an El Clasico, it will mean two of the great horses are going to now go and run the campaign. They know what to do, they know where to look. But the problem with the APC, and with profound respect to them, when they started out, I told the minister, Lai Mohammed, I said, sir, I see what your ideological underpinning of your party is progressive. But let me warn you, stay within your recruiting areas and parameter. If you don't, you can build it organically. Right. Otherwise, your party will become strange even to you. Look at them today. They can't even agree. They were supposed to do that convention today. What if INEC had not been encouraged to shift the goalposts for them? Have we created an independent election commission in this country to be helping a party that is not serious? Should they not even be ashamed of themselves? Look, it's not easy to organize conventions. We did it. It's not easy to organize the one that produced IU. We did it. What have they done with themselves?
All right. Let me go to Senator. Do you think that within the APC, perhaps they have put people to monitor what is happening in the PDP, to watch the TV and say, look, keep watching. We want to see how this pans out. Do you think it probably has upset anything, the ongoings in the APC?
Obviously, I agree with that. It happened in my own state of Benue, and at the level of the governorship race, they waited for us to direct where the governor was zoned to, and they followed him. In fact, they even said it, that we had, we had tipped their hand in terms of where we wanted our distance. So I'm sure that that is what is happening here. They're always shifting, waiting for the PDP to do their own before. So obviously, what they will do will be determined by what has happened, in the PDP today. We are following the American system of government. I mean, one day we will emphasize less on this zoning thing when we begin to talk about capacity and all of that. Then you can have, that's why in there you can have a Bush senior and a Bush junior, both being president of the United States. You can have a Bush being governor here, another Bush being governor in a different state, because there the capacity is the watchword. But here, perhaps because we are a developing country and all this federal character stuff has become so elevated to a point that people price that over competence, they price that over every other consideration. I get that, all of that. For now, perhaps because of our level of development, no zone is said to have monopoly of competence. So people can price that over some of these other things. But we'll get to that point. For now, I think what APC is doing is it's like limping after the PDP. And they are welcome to do that. I don't know where they will head, but I assure you that definitely their decisions will be based on what has happened.
Let's take a breather. After the break, I'd like to get your closing moments, thoughts on the program. But we'll take a break, and when we return, I get the closing thoughts of my guests on the PDP primaries and the outcome of Atiku Abubakar's emergence as a PDP presidential candidate. Plus, we'll also look at the extension of election timetable. IPAC will be speaking with us, and an election observer. So stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Our closing moments now with Chief Segun Showunmi, a factional governorship candidate of the PDP in Ogun State, and Senator Emmanuel Okaje. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. The final part of our conversation on the PDP and 2023 is an Atiku Abubakar, like Muhammadu Buhari. This is going to be Atiku Abubakar's fourth time of running for president in Nigeria. Some people will say over 20 years now that he's been wanting to become Nigeria's president. Now, the question is that, Senator, whoever APC, for example, brings, if APC brings or elect a candidate from the South, does it pose a problem for an Atiku?
I don't think so. I don't think it poses a problem. You know, I think this is Atiku's moment, okay? If it is his movement, the permutations, whether whether the person comes from the north or from the south, it's not critically important, if you ask me. I think just like when it was Buhari's time, you know, all of the other permutations, stuff that he came up.
So Atiku might be fourth time lucky, just like Buhari was fourth time lucky.
Oh, exactly my point. Okay, so this is his movement.
But we don't know just yet who.
We don't know, and it doesn't matter for me.
APC
it doesn't matter.
Electing.
The APC too have opened up the space. They didn't zone, so it means that it can come from any part of the country. So, but my point is that even if it comes from the south, southwest, or south or southeast, the point is still the same, because it looks like the APC came on board using propaganda, and Nigerians have seen through that. And so I don't think that will work again.
But you are part of the ones who, because you were... Now, when you're saying this, you were one of those who preached what you are describing as propaganda.
I did, and I preached and I cried.
But you left, you left only few...
Why did I leave? Because all the promises that were made were not kept. So I said I can't continue to be part of that. That's why I left, okay? So, and I know that it can't continue to fly with Nigerians. So that's why I think it's Atiku's time now.
Okay.
Because definitely they'll come up with the same approach, the modus operandi of trying to promise...
So if APC, for example, brings someone from the northeast, for example, does that pose a problem? Will it balkanize?
You see, there's something fundamentally flawed with the approach of the APC to governance and to, to seeking for votes. It worked then because we had never seen that stuff, that kind of politicking before. Now we've seen it and we've seen through it, and it will not work again. That's the point.
So if you're going to win an election in this country, there are 3 regions that you need also to capitalize on. The northwest region, you need to cut them. The numbers are there. Yeah. Followed by the southwest, you need to cut them. The southeast and the north central region of the country sometimes vote in a block. North central has remained a swing region for voting in Nigeria. Wherever the north central goes, that's where the votes goes. They wait. Interestingly,
let's crystallize the whole stuff. There are certain things that are common to all Nigerians, which the APC promised. Insecurity, they promised to tackle it. The economy, they promised to tackle it. They promised to tackle corruption. All of these things, it doesn't matter. It's not everybody that is a politician, but they are bothered about all of these things. The APC came and failed to address those matters. So when people are voting, they will walk away from the party that promised.
Let's wrap up now. Let me come to Ms. Chiu-Showomi. Now the question is that Northeast sits the 4th on the log in terms of voting population in this country. And that's where your candidate is coming from. Wherever APC gets, or they get from the northwest or from the southwest, does that pose a problem for your party?
Let me tell
these are the power big boys in terms of voting population.
Let me tell you something, my dear friend, and Nigerians. Nations are constantly evolving. We run the risk of assuming that the evolution that's taking place in the country is static. Who would have predicted that, notwithstanding the fact that the APC has been in the northwest for the length of years that they've been there, and naturally they should have easily zoned out the north, who could have predicted that they will leave it open? Who could have predicted that these things will follow this pattern? Who could have predicted that it is the ruling party that will be hopping and hoping to see what did the rivals do before they take their decision? No one could have. That's the evolution that is taking place within the dynamic space of Nigerian development and politics. As far as I see, if what you want to ask me is that, what should APC do? I'll tell you that I think the APC has to go back to the video I made for them, because you asked me then, who was I bothered about? And within that, they will know what they need to do. The truth is, if you look at the analytic, for the Southwest, for instance, what does the Southwest want? Who do they have there? You just mentioned the swing capacity of the North Central. What do they have there? If they want to go and gamble with an Atiku in the Northeast, I wish them luck. But Atiku is not just North. Atiku is pan-Nigeria. His last numbers were even heavily from the southern blocks. And now that you see a governor of Sokoto you see them stepping down for him, that should tell you that the Northwest is in the bag, the Northeast will be in the bag to some extent, and you now have an Iyoshe Ayu and a very, very experienced sort of people in the North Central. What do you think will happen? It's APC's call. But what I just want them to know and what I want to beg them for is that APC, get your act together. Stop disgracing Nigerians by the kind of disorganized nonsense going on with your... Do it. Let it be good looking. Let Nigerians be proud. Let us see it like a music fiesta. All we're trying to do is elect a president. We don't need to be writing rules to eliminate people or just playing to all sorts of funny galleries. It's disgraceful.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I must sincerely thank both of you. Senator Okajev, thanks so much for coming. And it's going to be interesting not to see you in the National Assembly. 16 years we've seen you, but you're not returning, is it?
I'm not returning. Just not returning.
And it's going to be good to see you on the ballot if you resolve.
I'll make a fantastic governor, I bet you. Business unusual.
Your life in Your Excellency.
No, I don't know about this. I could even ask you to tell me, just call me Otumba.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming. Appreciate it.